I'm going to share with you the 3 biggest mistakes I made in my first year as an entrepreneur so that you can avoid them at the start of your journey. The final one is the key to long-term success, so make sure you stick around till the end. What's up, guys? My name is Sal, and in March of 2023, I finally escaped the rat race. I escaped the corporate world and quit my miserable 9-to-5 job to pursue entrepreneurship. Let's get straight into the video. The first mistake that I want to talk to you guys about is very simple. The first mistake is not sticking to one business model. When I was at the start of my journey, when the penny dropped and I realized, okay, I want to quit my 9-to-5, I want to pursue entrepreneurship, I realized that I had to start a side hustle, right? Because you have to first make sure that you replace the income you're making. You got to build up the skills and start learning. At the start, I had this sort of mindset of I need to find the perfect business model, right? I need to find the business model that's going to make me money. So I remember I tried direct remote sales, and after a couple of weeks it didn't work. So then I tried Amazon FBA, and after a couple of weeks that didn't work. And then after that I tried Shopify dropshipping, and even that didn't work. And I was sitting there scratching my head wondering why nothing worked. And the reality is, and the harsh truth is, I just didn't stick to anything for a long period of time, right? And so what you have to remember is when you're at the start of your journey, there's no such thing as the perfect business model. There's a lot of videos that you'll see out there where people will tell you, this is the best way to get to 10K profit per month, or this is the perfect business model in 2024. The reality is, right, is that there is no perfect business model. Don't be fooled by these guys out there trying to sell you their courses so that you subscribe to their business model and think that that's the best one. The reality is, all the business models out there work, and all you have to do is stick to one and you will eventually see success. The key to true success in the long term is simply consistency, staying dedicated, and becoming the top 1% in that business model that you do. If you stick to something long enough, I think the saying goes that if you spend 1,000 hours doing one business model, you become in the top 1% already, simply because most people quit, right? So like I shared with you, when I started, I tried all these different things, when in reality, what I realized when I started doing Etsy dropshipping and saw success, the difference between Etsy dropshipping and all the other business models that I did at the start of my journey was that with Etsy, I stuck to it for more than 3 months. Every other business model that I tried, I failed within a couple of weeks, right? So the main message that I have to you with this first mistake is, don't try and keep changing business models until you see success. Flip the switch, focus on one business model that's suited to your skill set, something that you find a little bit of passion in, stick to it, and you will see success after a period of time of consistency, hard work, and dedication. The second mistake that I made at the start of my journey was the stubbornness of doing it alone. A lot of us have this sort of ego within us, right? I'm very guilty of this, where I think that I can do everything myself and I don't need other people's help, and I'll eventually be successful because I think that I'm intelligent and I put in the work. And so when I started Etsy dropshipping, for the first few months, I did it all by myself, right? I took advantage of all the free content that I saw out there, and I kept working on it. And the reality is my growth was very slow and stagnant. And the reason for that is very simple, right? When you're stubborn and you're doing things alone, you don't see much growth or success because you don't have the knowledge that other people have in order to truly pursue and grow in that business, right? What is the difference between you and that multimillionaire? What is the difference between me and a billionaire, right? The difference is that they have a certain knowledge set. They haven't access to a network that I don't have, right? It's as simple as that. It is very simple as I need to find a way to acquire that knowledge. I need to find a mentor. And in order to then be able to actually grow, I need to humble myself and realize that you can't actually do that alone. So it's very easy, right? You're probably sitting there and thinking, okay, you're telling me not to do it alone, but I've never done a business before, or I've never really done anything. How do I go about finding other people to help me, right? The advice that I have for you in this situation is, what I basically did was I went online, I went on YouTube, and I started watching lots of Etsy videos. I started watching lots of other people who were doing Etsy dropshipping, and what I basically realized was, okay, I'm going to watch all these guys' free content. I'm going to absorb all the free information that they have out there. And then when I find somebody who I feel like I have a connection with, who I feel like is authentic, who's actually provided me with a lot of value with the free information that they've provided, I'm going to then take my money and I'm going to invest into the education. Now, you may sit there and think, yeah, but I don't want to give my money to someone else and, courses and mentorships and networks are all scams, right? 85% of communities and courses out there are scams, 100%. But the reality is there is that 1% of courses out there that are so valuable. There are communities out there that truly help you. Like when I joined the community for Etsy dropshipping, which is what I did when I, watched the content online, I watched it for free. And then, I found this one person who I connected with and I invested into his education. That fast tracked my growth tenfold. To give you context and to show you in numerical figures. So I started Etsy dropshipping in December of 2022. December, January, February, I made no money in December. In January, I made approximately £200. In February, I made approximately 700, 800 pounds, right? So for me, it was like, okay, I've seen the proof of concept. That free information is giving me proof of concept, but the growth is still slow. It's stagnant. It's not enough for me to replace my income. I invested into the mentorship at the end of February, and in March, I made £5,000. So I increased my revenue by over 5 times, right? And that was because the course, the community, the information that was out there that I paid for, it helped me implement into my own skill, right? You have to remember, number one, you're not paying for a course for the information in it, because the truth is most of the information out there is for free. What you're paying for though is you're paying for the community. You're paying for the person who's already had success so that they can hold your hand and help you avoid mistakes that they've already made. And fundamentally, and most importantly, you're paying for the implementation, right? If you're gonna go and pay a multimillionaire to teach you, so this multimillionaire was already doing, hundreds of thousands of pounds a month of the time on Etsy dropshipping. So at the end of the day, he clearly knew what the recipe was to get there. And I paid him to share that information with me. And once I invested into that and I had a community of like-minded people around me all doing the same thing, it boosted my motivation tenfold. It gave me access to knowledge that I didn't have, and it just allowed me to level up at such a faster rate, right? And so the second mistake that I made was thinking that I could go it alone. And what I would strongly advise you to do is humble yourself and realize that the true key to fast tracking success is investing into your education, investing into courses and mentorships, not to mention the byproduct and the advantage, right? Which was that I made a bunch of friends who were all on a similar journey to me, which really helped, because it can be quite lonely. So not only did I learn how to fast track my journey, I also made a bunch of friends along the way who share the same values, who align with, the purpose that I have in life, which was amazing and awesome. And I'm truly grateful for it. So when we look at the first 2 mistakes that I've made so far, it's quite simple, right? The first one that I made was I didn't stick to one business model. If I stuck to Etsy dropshipping from the beginning, or, if I'd maybe stuck to Amazon for a longer period of time, then maybe I would have made money a lot quicker and I would have been able to quit my job in January instead of March, right? So the first one, like I said, stick to one business model. Second mistake that I made was the stubbornness of doing it alone. The ego that I had within me thought that I could go down the path all by myself. I actually told my mentor, once I invested into his community and I invested into the mentorship, and I said to him, I was like, in my mind, I had this sort of ego trip, and I said to him, I thought that I'm going to make a bunch of money doing this business model that I've seen your free content with online. And then once I make all the money, I'm going to buy your course once I'm a multimillionaire, and I'm going to say to you, hey man, look, I made all this money through your free information. Now take the money. What a big mistake that was, right? But to summarize, don't be stubborn. Humble yourself and understand that investing into your education, investing into networks and courses, it's a fast track to success. It truly is. And I'm sitting here and saying that to you from my own personal experience. The third and final mistake that I made, and I made a lot of other mistakes. Like, I do want to just clarify, I made a lot of mistakes that I've learned from, right? And the saying goes that if you make a mistake is just a synonym for learning, right? When you make mistakes in life, when you fail, it's just another way to learn and improve in your life. But the third mistake that I made was taking my foot off the gas when I saw success. What do I mean by this? So like I said, in March of 23, I made £5,000 on Etsy. And then, I managed to sustain it, double it, increase it over a period of time, right? March was really good. April was really good. May was really good. I got to May and I was sitting there and I was like, wow, my hard work is paying off. I'm absolutely killing it. And life is good, man. I'm doing well. I've made money. I feel like I've got to this point of financial freedom. I'm making way more money than I ever did in my consulting job. And so I said, now I can actually chill a bit. I went from working 10-hour days to an hour a day, So to give you context with Etsy, for example, one of the things that's very important is listing a product every single day, right? So I made sure to stay consistent with that on all my stores, and I'd make sure that I would list one product every single day. Once I got to, that period of time, I said, okay, I'm just going to list every 2-3 days. I'm going to slow down. Some days I'm not going to list. Maybe I won't reply to my customers every day. I won't stay on it all the time and monitor the market, analyze the competition. And I took things easy and I was like, I've made the money, so the money is going to keep coming, right? And what a big mistake that was, because I took my foot off the gas, and when I got to June and July, I suffered again. My income went significantly down again. And what I realized was it was literally because I took a backseat, I got complacent, and I thought that because I'd already made it, or I thought I'd made it, I was like, now I can chill out. And the reality is you can't take your foot off the gas, right? And the way you flip that is simple. It's consistency, right? You just have to be consistent over a long period of time. What I basically realized in hindsight when I look back at that time was the consistent grind that I put in from December, January, February, March led to the compound effect that eventually allowed me to yield the results that I got, right? And so the 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day of consistently working over that first 3 months led to that snowball and compound effect where I saw the success in May, March, April. I know that was all the wrong way around, but when I took my foot off the gas and I slowed down a little bit in May and June, it was June, July, August, I saw a reverse compound effect, right? I saw that because I spent less time putting in the work, the success started to slow down and I started to make less money. And what I realized in hindsight when looking back at it, like I've said, is you have to understand that the compound effect is real. And when you put in the work today, you're not going to see the success overnight. You're not going to see the success tomorrow. But that consistency leads to the compound effect, which leads to massive success over a long period of time. But in order to sustain it, you have to stay consistent and you have to keep working hard. And what I can basically share with you from that is, don't take your foot off the gas when you see success, you know? I wouldn't say don't ever take breaks and don't learn how to rest yourself so that you're always energized, but going from 12 hours of work a day to going to 1 hour of work a day is not the right thing to do at all. And so to summarize that third point and that third mistake that I made, which I think was so crucial and I make sure to never make it again, is when you see a little bit of success, don't take your foot off the gas. Keep pushing, and keep pushing, because when you work for yourself, when you're running your own business, your roof is unlimited. There is no cap to the potential and the places that you can reach. So always keep pushing, keep grinding, because you can take it to greater heights. And that's something that I've realized now. So when you look at the 3 mistakes that I've shared with you, and we were to flip it around to make it a positive, to make it, how can I take these failures that I've shared with you and turn them into successes, right? How can I take these failures and use them as ammunition to actually push you and strive? And it's very simple, right? All we have to do is basically reverse engineer what we've done to turn it into a positive. And so the first mistake that I said to you was that I didn't stick to one business model. And so to flip it in very simple terms, stick to one business model. Understand yourself, understand your skills, understand your strengths, understand your weaknesses, understand what your passions are in life, understand what fulfills you, understand how you can leverage your skills efficiently to make money, and stick to one business model. Stick to it for at least 6 months. If you don't see success for 6 months, then you can maybe think about moving on. Maybe then it's not right for you. But I guarantee 99.999% of the time, if you stick to one business model and you put your all into it for 6 months, you will see success. Second mistake that I said to you was the stubbornness of doing it alone. Don't be stubborn and think that you can do things all by yourself. Just because there's this myth out there that all courses are scams and all networks are scams, doesn't mean that you can't find that one special course that could change your life, that one special network of like-minded individuals that can truly allow you to utilize them for the better and leverage them to your advantage. At the end of the day, one thing that you have to remember is a course or a network is only as good as you allow it to be. It's all in here. Even if you take away one bit of information that can improve your business by 1%, it's made its return on investment, right? So to flip around that stubbornness of doing it alone, humble yourself and invest into courses, invest into mentorships, invest into networks based on your expertise, and that will allow you to flourish and fast track your success. And the third and final one, like I said to you, was the third and biggest mistake that I thought that I made was taking my foot off the gas, right? So instead of taking your foot off the gas, how do we flip that? Stay consistent. Stay as consistent as you were at the start of your journey. If you're working 12 hours a day at the start of your journey and you saw that success after 2 to 3 months, stay at that level of consistency when you do see success. You don't want to fall off. You want to keep growing and building and becoming a better version of yourself. So stay consistent and I guarantee that you will see success. That's all from me for today, guys. Let me know in the comments what you guys thought. If you have any feedback on how I can improve these videos, anything that you guys want to see. I really hope that you enjoyed the video. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. Helps the algorithm. They say to say it. want to get more followers, of course. I want to provide you guys more value and keep improving. So please do that. And one last thing, I have launched my own private community recently called Untapped Potential, which is significantly designed to help people unlock their potential, attain financial freedom, and find fulfillment in their lives. If that's something that's of interest to you, I share a lot more information in there. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.